up, you guys, and welcome back to another one. If you are new to the channel, I am Gold Pony, and today we are in the new 2019 Mazda CX-5, courtesy of Jack Giambalvo Mazda in York, PA. And I am excited to be in this one today. You know why? Because there is a new engine available for the 2019 CX-5, and I happen to have it today. So, without further ado, let's start with pricing. So there will be several different trim levels, of course, for the 2019 Mazda CX-5. First one being the Sport, that is going to start at $24,350. Then the Touring for $26,615, and the Grand Touring for $30,045. That was all front-wheel drive. To add all-wheel drive, simply add $1,400 to those prices. Then there are two more trim levels, being the Grand Touring Reserve for $34,870. That comes standard with all-wheel drive, as well as the Signature for $36,890. That's the one that we have today. But so then I alluded to the power on the new CX-5. There are two different engine setups available for this one. First one belonging to the Sport, Touring, and Grand Touring. That is going to be powered by a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder, putting out 187 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 186 pound-feet of torque available at 4,000 RPM. Power is going to be sent to the front wheels or all wheels through a 6-speed automatic transmission, giving you MPG numbers coming in at 25 in the city, 31 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 24 city, 30 highway for the all-wheel drive. But then there is the other engine setup, and this one's going to be in the Grand Touring Reserve and the Signature. And this engine setup is the one that is all new for the 2019 CX-5, but also found on the CX-9 as well as the larger Mazda 6 sedan, if you were curious. But so this engine setup is going to be the 2.5 liter turbocharged four-cylinder engine, putting out 227 horsepower at regular 87 octane, but 250 horsepower at 93 octane, coming in at 5,000 RPM, and 310 pound-feet of torque available at a very low 2,000 RPM. So definitely quite a bit more power with this engine setup that we have today. And that power is only going to be sent to all four wheels through Mazda's all-wheel drive system, and that power is going to be sent to the ground through a 6-speed automatic, giving you MPG numbers coming in at 22 in the city, 27 on the highway. And so then, before we do any accelerations, I do want to mention there is a driving mode, singular, a sport driving mode. That button's going to be located just to the left of the shifter there, but if you press that, it did just immediately downshift for me. It's going to hold the RPMs at a much higher level. It's also going to adjust the throttle response a little bit, so it is going to hold the RPMs in that sweet spot, so to speak, giving you more power on demand there. But having said that, I think it is time. Let's do a quick little acceleration in the new 2019 CX-5 with the new engine, and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. Definitely got a good bit of pep there to it, and I wouldn't say there was any turbo lag either, so pretty nice acceleration on the new CX-5, especially the turbocharged engine we have today. And I will also mention, if you wanted to shift through your own gears, you slide the shifter to the left, you do have the availability to do that, although this one does not come with paddle shifters. But who really needs paddle shifters on an SUV anyways? But to go along with that acceleration, braking is equally important. And so on the 2019 CX-5, for the non-turbocharged engine, you will get 11.7-inch ventilated front discs, 11.9-inch solid rear discs, and I mention it that way because if you do go with the turbocharged engine, front rotors are actually going to be upsized a little bit, bumping it up to 12.6 inches, and when it comes to the braking feel, not too bad. But so to go along with the 2019 improvements, besides the turbocharged engine, of course, there are some handling improvements for this one as well, including the new G Vectoring Control Plus system. Yes, Mazda has added a plus moniker to that G Vectoring control system that they previously had. And basically what that plus designation is going to signify is a new feature that applies braking to the outside front wheel when the driver straightens the wheel, which Mazda says is going to improve stability. And while I am not sure if there is any improved stability, I can tell you that the steering feel is quite nice, especially coming off of just reviewing the 2019 Hyundai Tucson. Steering feel does feel a little heavier in the CX-5. Definitely points you in the direction that you want to go a little more precisely than the Hyundai Tucson, since I just reviewed it. So I do like that in the CX-5. But then in addition to that, Mazda has also noted that they have reworked the suspension for 2019, making for a more smoother ride as well. And when it comes to ride quality, I really have had no issues. Probably wouldn't say it is as smooth as the 2019 2019 Tucson, but I will say it is not bad at all though. Certainly would not have any issues taking this on long road trips or anything like that. As far as the cabin noise goes, there is a little bit of engine noise that comes into the cabin, perhaps because I have the turbocharged engine, but I will say it is a little louder than most other SUVs in this class. And as far as visibility goes, absolutely zero issues when it comes to that. Usually smaller SUVs, you're really not going to have any issues, but I can see perfectly fine out the back. But in addition to that, there is also actually a head-up display that I'm looking at right now telling me that the speed limit is 15 miles per hour and I am going 21, so I don't think you can get a ticket for that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is pretty cool that that's there, and it is super bright as well, and it is adjustable if you wanted to make it a little higher up or a little lower, but that is pretty cool that that's there. It definitely helps you keep your eyes on the road a little better than I guess you otherwise would be able to. But enough of the driving dynamics, you guys, because this is a very nice looking SUV. Let's check out the exterior of the 2019 Mazda CX-5. And so starting up front, one of my favorite parts about the CX-5 is every single trim level of this one will give you LED headlights with daytime running lights. LEDs usually don't come standard on SUVs, especially in this segment. They're usually reserved for the upper trim levels, but every single trim level is going to get it with the CX-5. And you will get the automatic feature with that as well, so the headlights can turn on automatically if you want them to. And if you go with the touring trim level and up, those LED headlights are also going to be auto leveling. So that is really a safety feature in itself as well. But in the middle of those headlights, that front grille will be the same among every single trim level. Definitely looks nice up there. And LED fog lights are going to be reserved for the Grand Touring trim level and up. But then make your way to the side on this one. Body colored power adjustable side mirrors with LED integrated turn signals will come standard on every single trim level. And again, those LED integrated turn signals usually will only come standard on the higher trim levels for most other manufacturers out there, so that is nice. Also zooming out a little bit, you will find a chrome belt line molding along the CX-5. And when it comes to the wheel setup, there will be 17 by 7 inch aluminum alloys for the sport and touring trim levels. That is going to get bumped up to 19 inches if you go with the Grand Touring or Reserve. And the signature trim that we have today, again 19 inches, but they are going to come with a unique dark silver finish to them. But so then make your way to the back of the CX-5. There is a rear spoiler with the integrated brake light along with the rear window wiper just below that for all trims. You will find LED taillights for the Grand Touring trim level and up. And just below it all, dual exhaust outlets with chrome tips. So you guys know what I have to do next. Let's check out the way this new turbocharged engine sounds, and as always, here is that exhaust clip. So now, since we are around back as far as opening that rear hatch goes, there is a button on the key fob if you like, but that button is going to equate to a power lift gate if you go with the Grand Touring trim level and up. And once opened up, cargo capacity is going to come in at 30.9 cubic feet with the seats up. And if you fold those seats down, it is going to come in at 59.6 cubic feet. Then make your way up to the rear legroom. That comes in at 39.6 inches, so actually a good bit back there. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had back there. Also, those rear passengers will find a rear center armrest with cup holders if you go with the touring trim level and up. And again, with that touring trim level and up, rear air vents back there as well, and heated rear seats if you go with a Grand Touring Reserve or Signature. So we do have those back there today. But then taking a look at the front seats, there are manually adjustable cloth seats for the sport trim level. You will get a power driver's seat with a leatherette finish for the touring, and those seats will be heated as well, actually. Grand Touring is going to give you a power passenger seat. Then the Grand Touring Reserve and Signature trim levels are going to give you ventilated front seats with a Napa leather. That is definitely very high end. But so then taking a look forward, when it comes to the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping, manually adjustable for all trims, but also leather wrapped for all trim levels. That is very nice. And for the Grand Touring Reserve and Signature, it is also heated, which I do have on right now because it is 28 degrees out today in Pennsylvania. Very cold. But so now then, when it comes to the startup, let me first start by showing you guys the key here. You do lock, unlock that button to pop the rear hatch, but it is of course keyless entry though, so I'm simply just going to put my foot on the brake and press the engine start button, which is located just up top of the driver's right knee there. But so then once started up, tachometer is going to be on your left, fuel gauge is on your right, and the speedometer is part of a digital setup, a digital display. front and center, you get a cool little CX-5 intro when you turn this one on, so I found that pretty cool. But those gauges will also tell you how many miles you have left until you hit empty. But taking a look at overall interior quality, there is an overhead sunglass holder that will come standard for all trim levels. If you go with the Touring trim level and up, you will get dual zone climate control as well. And the Grand Touring trim level and up is not only going to give you a power moonroof, but an auto dimming rear view mirror with HomeLink controls for up to 3 different garage doors. So rather than having the garage door opener that vibrates on your sun visor all the time, you actually have it just under the rear view mirror there. So that is definitely convenient and less annoying as well. Did want to also mention, since I have the very top trim level today, there is LED ambient lighting absolutely everywhere, including in the back for the rear passengers. You don't usually find LED lighting back there. I found that pretty cool. Also wood trim accents just above the glove box there, and that ties into the doors as well. And again, Napa leather finishes throughout, so definitely a very high-end feel for a Mazda CX-5. So I gotta say, I am very impressed, but I think it is time we make our way to the tech display on this one, because all trim levels will give you a 7-inch color touchscreen display. It will come standard with Bluetooth and audio streaming, and if you go with the Touring trim level and up, it will come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, meaning if you have a smartphone, simply hook it up to the CX-5 and you have free navigation as well as the ability to like and dislike your Pandora songs up there. Speaking of, when it comes to the radio settings, if you go with the Sport or Touring trim level, you will get 6 speakers. However, if you go with the Grand Touring trim level and up, you will get a 10-speaker Bose sound system. So you guys know what we have to do next. Let's turn on the radio, see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this 10-speaker Bose sound system. Ton of bass on this sound system. Definitely, I've had Bose sound systems in my previous cars, and it is absolutely amazing. I've never had any issues with Bose failing or anything like that, so definitely a very nice sound system on the higher trim levels of the CX-5 here. But so then last thing I wanted to mention on the tech display is when you do put the CX-5 in reverse, you will find a rear view camera for every single trim level. However, that signature trim level that we have today is going to add a couple more things as well, including front and rear parking sensors, so it's going to beep at you if you get a little too close to an object, as well as a 360-degree view camera. And that button is going to be located just by the driver's left knee there, but that's going to let you know what is around you everywhere around the CX-5, so that is definitely pretty nice. But as always, that is going to lead me into safety. And so to start, there are front, side, and side curtain airbags. Also in the back, latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Rear child door locks, also standard for all trim levels. Tire pressure monitoring system, also all trim levels though. This is where it gets good. Blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert comes standard for all trim levels. That is definitely not a standard feature you usually find. And if you go with the Touring trim level and up, you will also get adaptive cruise control with stop and go in the Touring. That's pretty nice. Also smart city brake support with pedestrian detection and lane departure warning with lane keep assist. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe. Feel free to follow me on social media if you like at the bottom of the screen there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay gold!